Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Grandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Samaveda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 12. Chapter is entitled The Birth of Emperor Parikshit. Today we are discussing verse number 27. Takshakatmano mrityum Dvijaputropasarjitat Prapatshyatah upashrutya Muktasangah padam hare Takshakadatmano mrityum Dvijaputropasarjitat Prapatsyat upashrutya Muktasangah padam hare Takshakadatmano mrityum Dvijaputropasarjitat Prapatsyata upashrutya Muktasangah padam hare. Matajis. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. After hearing about his death, which will be caused by the bite of a snake bird sent by a son of a Brahmana, he will get himself freed from all material attachments and surrender unto the personality of Godhead, taking shelter of him. Purport. Material attachment and taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord goes ill together. Material attachment means ignorance of the transcendental happiness under the shelter of the Lord. Devotional service to the Lord while existing in the material world is a way to practice one's transcendental relation with the Lord. And when it is matured, one gets completely freed from all material attachment and becomes competent to go back home, back to Godhead. Maharaj Parikshit, being especially attached to the Lord from the beginning of his body in the womb of his mother, was continuously under the shelter of the Lord. And the so-called warning of his death within 7 days from the date of the curse by the Brahmana's son was a boon to him, to enable him to prepare himself to go back home, back to Godhead. Since he was always protected by the Lord, he could have avoided the effect of such a curse by the grace of the Lord. But he did not take such undue advantage for nothing. Rather, he made the best use of the bad bargain. For 7 days continuously, he heard Srimad Bhagavatam from the right source. And thus, he got shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord by that opportunity. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Aham Shri Guru Shri Yuda Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayati Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram Paramananda Madhavam. Translation once again. After hearing about his death, which will be caused by the bite of a snake bird sent by a son of a Brahmana, he will get himself freed from all material attachment and surrender unto the personality of Godhead, taking shelter of him. Hare Krishna. Seek the blessings of all the devotees so that I can speak something worthwhile for my personal nourishment and for my own purification. This is one of the advantages of speaking on the dais, where we ourselves are forced to really be conscious of what we are speaking, and we ourselves get an opportunity to practice what we speak. Although it's easier said than done, but it's a wonderful opportunity to dive deep and study and absorb oneself, at least while the preparation is happening. So it's it's a great opportunity for purifying our heart. Thank you. Takshakadatmano mrityum dvijaputro prasarjitat prapatshyata upashrutya mukta sangha padam haret. In a game of cricket, we see there are fast-paced bowlers, medium-paced bowlers, there are spin bowlers, there are best of the fielders, someone who does wicket keeping, and also best of the batsmen. Now, everyone has a unique strength. Someone is a good batsman, someone is a good bowler, someone is a good spin bowler, or someone could be a good wicket keeper, and someone could be a good fielder. And we don't find all these different facets of cricket in one person, generally. Someone who is a fast bowler may not be a good batsman, and someone who is a good batsman may not be a fast-paced bowler or a spin bowler. But even within a cricket, there is someone who is an all-rounder. All-rounder means he could be a best bowler as well as a good batsman and a good fielder also. So, so all-rounder, someone who is an all-rounder in the field of cricket may have an element of, say, John T. Rhodes, no, who is one of the best fielders, or who someone may have an element of Jadeja, no, Ravindra Jadeja, no, who is currently considered as one of the best fielders. Or someone may have the all-rounder may have an element of the best batsman, like Rohit Sharma or Virat Kohli or Rishabh Pant. If we consider today's game of cricket, and someone who is an all-rounder may also be the best wicket keeper, like Rishabh Pant, who is not only a batsman but also a wicket keeper as well. And someone may have an element of Jasprit Bumrah, who is considered as one of the best bowlers in today's Indian cricket team. So an all-rounder may have a facet of a best bowler, the best fielder, the best wicket keeper, and so on and so forth. Why we are discussing this is the verses that we have discussed till now speaks about Parikshit Maharaj being an all-rounder. Parikshit Maharaj is going to be the best archer like Arjuna. He is going to be the best king like the king Ikshvaku. He is going to be as good as Lord Narayan in giving shelter. He is going to be the best munificent donor like King Shibi. And he's going to be as strong as lion. He's going to be as tolerant as Mother Earth. And above all, he's going to be as good as Krishna. That's what Bhagavatam says. Sarva Sadguna Mahatme Esha Krishnam Anuvrataha. So the previous verses that we have discussed till now speaks about Parikshit Maharaj's various facets of being a multi-dimensional personality. So he is a mix of so many personalities. He has the best of someone within him. And that's why we can say that he's actually an all-rounder personality. And the verses that we have discussed till now speaks about the graph of his life, which is just booming, which is just shooting up, 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 up. The wheel of his life, which comprises of physical, social, emotional, then recreational and spiritual aspect. All the wheels of lives are just in perfect balance. And he has just climbed the success, he has just climbed the ladder of success at such a small age. And everything was just going on so well that it appeared that his present and his future is just so secured. But we see the verse that we are discussing today, the one event completely changed the entire trajectory of his life. Where the graph which was booming up, 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 suddenly comes crushing down. So one apparent mistake on a part of this king, and practically everything is crumbling down. And that's what is the nature of this material world. A batsman may have reached a point when he's about to, say, perform his century. He may be on the 99, but one small mistake, probably he may not be able to complete his century. And it's not just for the king like Parikshit, but it's for anyone and everyone in the field, whoever is working today. One mistake, one small mistake in investment may probably cost a lot in future. So a best of the batsmen may also commit a silly mistake and may probably get out at 99. And he may have to go back to pavilion. Now imagine if it's not the mistake of the batsman, no, but it's the mistake of the umpire who gives him who gives the wrong decision. Now that is far more annoying, that is far more frustrating, that is far more unacceptable. And we see here in the case of Parikshit Maharaj, practically, no, the mistake was so small, but the punishment that was awarded was quite bigger or quite big. So he had the best of practically everyone within him. But one thing that is worth noticing is, although he had the best of someone else within him, but he also had the best of himself within him. That was his own strength, that was his own forte. And what was that? The ability to respond right just when it was required. The ability to switch over from material to spiritual shelter so swiftly and so smoothly that he could do it. No, that his spiritual graph touched all-time high heights, and he truly scored century in the eyes of Krishna. So although he apparently committed that mistake, but the way he responded is something noteworthy. And now in this verse, and in the previous verse when everything is just going up, and in this verse where Suta Goswami is describing, all of a sudden, no, he is bitten by a snake, and that will be the cause of his death. So this verse actually applies to all of us, whoever we may be, no matter whoever we may be. Life is full of ifs and buts. And ifs is IFS. IFS means instant full stop. And buts means you apply brake until trouble stops. That is but. So this ifs and buts in life, they actually acts as a blockage or a barrier for us to progress. And many times situations, people, circumstances, time factor, they apply brake in our journey and in our progress. But, again, but those ifs and buts should act like a propellant, where a person really takes those ifs and buts, those adversities as an opportunities to move ahead in life, rather than diffusing in their enthusiasm. So yes, life is full of ifs and buts. Imagine, I have the best of the sweets in front of me, and I love sweets, and there are people who are willing to offer me sweets, but I have diabetes. I can't enjoy. I may have to go in a party, but my stomach is just upset. I want to run and win the marathon, but I'm old. Or I want to enjoy so much, but my conscience doesn't allow me to enjoy. Or I want to go with my friends on a vacation, on a tour to Europe, and everything is just so set. My bag is packed, tickets are ready, web check-in is done, but all of a sudden I develop COVID symptoms. and I have to be quarantined. And naturally, like recently one of our preachers went to America for his preaching tour, and all of a sudden, after reaching there, he developed COVID symptom. He had to be quarantined. All his plans, practically his schedules, was completely upside down. So yes, the World Cup final is about to happen. All tickets sold. Everyone is just looking forward who is going to win the match. And all of a sudden, but comes in the picture. What is that? Heavy rains. And probably everything is just whitewashed. So everything around us may just be so perfect. The ambience may be perfect. The facilities, the resources, the amenities may be just perfect, but my mind is just so restless. As they say, यदि मन खुश है तो एक बूंद भी बरसात है. यदि मन खुश है तो एक बूंद भी बरसात है. दुखी मन के सामने समंदर भी की क्या औकात है. This is what happens many a times. Or no, I want to chant attentively, but my mind just doesn't allow me. And we have heard so many times, bhakti is so simple, but it is not easy. So there are so many ifs and buts that keeps coming in between. Naturally, we may want everything to just happen the way we want, the way we plan, but it doesn't happen that way. That's what we see here. The life of Parikshit Maharaj was just booming. He was at the peak of his success, but this verse explains how all of a sudden the trajectory of his life altogether changed. So we can conclude that life is not just a flat, straight highway where one can just drive at the maximum velocity. But most of the time, life is mainly uphill, narrow road with twists and turns, curves and bumps before we actually reach up high at our destination. So that's what the life is. So yes, we all experience enough hiccups, in the course of going through various phases of life. Of course, that's what Parikshit Maharaj is teaching us. We may slow down, but we don't step down. And we just accept it, face it, and move forward in life gracefully and gratefully. So, more we face ifs and buts, it is like facing external resistance. So, more we face external resistance, greater is the opportunity for building our inner resilience. And that's what we see in the life of Parikshit Maharaj, where so much external resistance came in his life, but he developed that internal resistance. He turned chaos into celebration. He turned the crisis and the crippling situation into an empowering situation, and he turned adversity into opportunity. And we can see in the life of Srila Prabhupada, there were so many ifs and buts that came as a hurdle, as an obstacle. But Prabhupada turned those ifs into infinite facility and the opportunity to serve, instead of instant full stop. So he turned those ifs into infinite opportunity and the facility to serve, and he turned a lot of buts into battalion, into an army. Indefinite numbers of people turned to become devotees. So yes, life is full of ifs and buts, But life is not just full of ifs and buts. Life is just like a sentence. You know, you write a sentence. When you write a sentence, it's not just about full stop. But one sentence will have a lot of commas, lot of exclamations, lot of semicolon, lot of hyphen, lot of question marks. And finally, when the statement ends, when the sentence ends, there is a full stop. So yes, life is a mix of comma, exclamations, full stop, question marks. When we are born, there is exclamation, people are happy. When we are in our childhood days, no, it's like having a semicolon. When we grow into youth, there are so many commas. Oh, moving on from school, comma, graduation, comma, jobs, comma, married life, comma, children, comma, and so on and so forth. So there are unlimited commas that follows. Then after the youth, lot of question marks. We don't know where to go, what is happening, probably what's my future. And then finally, when the life is about to end, then there is full stop. Now imagine, generally the statement or the life, which is like a sentence, should end with a full stop. But imagine if a full stop comes in the middle of the youth. And that's what we see in the case of Parikshit Maharaj. There's a full stop that has come all of a sudden in the middle of the youth, when there was supposed to be so many commas. And because now there is a full stop all of a sudden, naturally there is going to be a lot of question mark. Why this, why that, why this happened to me? But interestingly, we see, Parikshit Maharaj, without any question mark, he is accepting, and not denying the reality of life. So yes, full stop, shouldn't come in the middle of a sentence. And what is more important is, or probably let's put this way, if life is like a sentence, how long is the sentence is not as important as how meaningful is that sentence. We may just keep writing a long sentence, long essay, but if it doesn't make any sense, what's the meaning? What's the point? Similarly, how long is the sentence is not as important as how meaningful is the sentence. Similarly, how long is life or how long we live is not as important as how limitlessly, lovingly, and lively we live in this world. So, just as how long we live is not important, similarly, how die or probably how we die is not as important as with what consciousness we die. How die or probably how we die means what is the cause of our death. For Parikshit Maharaj, it was Takshak. For few devotees, it was the plane crash. Probably for someone, it was accident. For someone, it was cancer. But how we die is not as important as with what consciousness we die. So, just because the cause of death is unnatural. Now, Parikshit Maharaj dying because of the Takshak biting is in one sense not a natural death. It's an unnatural death. The cause is unnatural. Someone dying because of accident, probably it's an unnatural death. But just because the cause is unnatural doesn't mean that we will not reach the destination. Because the cause of death doesn't determine the destination after death. I repeat, the cause of death doesn't determine the destination after death, but it's the consciousness which determines the destination after death. So, yes, there is a pain involved in dying early, no doubt. If someone has to die, at a very early age, there is a pain which is involved, no doubt. So, one pain is dying early. Another type of pain is living long, but the body is a liability and not an asset. That is equally a pain. When we are about to die early, at an early stage of our life, it is definitely painful. But more painful is when you live long, probably with your body of no use, more of a liability than an asset. So many people they think, or many people they bless, they say, oh, may you live long. Of course, there's nothing wrong in living long. If we can live long and contribute and serve to the best of our ability, nothing like that. But many astrologers, they say that yes, you will live long. But just living long is not important. Bhagavatam says, Tarava kim na jivanti, bhastrika kim na swashanti uta, kim khadanti, kim na medanti, gramava pashavo pare. No, even the trees, they live long. So yes, if we can live long, great. Prabhupada lived long, but his life was not just of quantity, but also of quality. So, if we can live long and contribute as much as we can, nothing like that. But there are people in this world who lived a very short life, but they contributed far more than any person who lived so long. So, as we were discussing, the pain of death nowadays, especially nowadays, the pain of death is not that much taken into account in compare to the pain of becoming irrelevant or redundant. Many people have this fear, what if I become irrelevant? In fact, this, according to one of the statistics, it is explained that in the year 2010, there were 88 million elderly people. And in the year 2050, this 88 million elderly people will increase to 320 million people, elderly people. We are discussing this point that nowadays the pain of becoming irrelevant or redundant is far more than just dying. People don't mind dying, but people don't want to become irrelevant. People don't want to become a liability. People don't want to become redundant, or people don't want to become non-existential. So this is what the statistics say, that by the year 2050, there will be 320 million elderly people. And it is said that 1 out of 3 elderly people are abused by their own family members nowadays. Imagine the pain that a person undergoes. Not only that, report also states that 50% of the abuses comes from within the family, and 56% of the abuse to the elderly people is done by their own children. And in major metropolitan cities, 52.7% of the elderly people are not offered help or not offer help by their own children during the sickness. And the number of old age homes are increasing exponentially. And there are many people in this world who just cannot join the old age, or they cannot join the old age home But at the same time, they cannot just live peacefully in their home as well. So, yes, when someone dies, it is a loss for sure. But death is not the greatest loss. What is far more a greatest loss is what dies within us when we are alive. So death is not the greatest loss, but what dies within us while we are alive, that's the greatest loss. So yes, death is a loss, but it's not the greatest loss. What dies within us, that means the greatest loss is when the humanness within us dies within us when we are alive. That's the greatest loss. The opportunity to become God conscious while we are alive is the greatest loss. So, greatest loss is the unlimited opportunities that we miss out in order to serve others while we are alive. That's the loss. So, yes, if someone has a short life and they are invalid, see, there are these four clause. If someone, say for example, if someone has a long life and they are invalid, try to understand this. Someone has a long life and they are invalid, then there is a pain of becoming a liability and pain of becoming irrelevant. Second, someone has a long life, but they are valid. Valid means they are virile, they are strong. They have a long life and they are strong as well. Yes, they can contribute unlimited to the society, but the glitch here is there is a possibility that they may get attached to name, fame, position, and as a result, when it is taken away, it's far more painful. This is the second, long life and a good standing health. The third, you have a short life and at the same time you are invalid. Then people carry this pain of regret that I couldn't do much. I couldn't contribute much. And they blame God, probably they lose faith in God. That's the third. And the fourth is you have a short life, but you are valid. That means you are really virile. Short life, virile. That's what we see in case of Parikshit Maharaj. He has a very short life, but he was highly potential. He had unlimited potential to serve and contribute. And when people, they have short life and unfortunately, they are not given the chance to live in this world, then what pain that they undergo is the pain of regret, or probably the pain of denial and non-acceptance. They just can't accept this fact that how can this ever happen to me? So, there was this famous personality whose name was James Marshall, very well known in this world today as Jimi Hendrix. He was born in the year 1942 and he died at a very early age of 28 in the year 1970. He was one of the best American guitarist. Not only that, he was the best singer and a songwriter. And according to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he is considered as one of the best influential guitarists in the history and the most celebrated musician of the 20th century. He died at a very early age, the age of 27. How he died is a big dispute and a controversy. But when he died with a lot of regret. In contrast to what we see in the life of Parikshit Maharaj, where he had no regrets, He did not blame anyone. He did not aim or target the son of a Brahmana Shringi. So he did not blame, he did not aim, he did not claim anything, nor did he proclaim. Nor did he proclaim or he announced, he made that announcement that from henceforth, no, in my kingdom, the Brahmana community will not be served because Brahmana Shringi cursed me. So nor did he blame, nor did he aim, nor did he claim, nor did he proclaim, nor did he become inflamed by the situation that turned his entire future around. Tamopayantam pratiyantu vipra gangacha devi dhrutachittameshe dvijapasrishtas kokas takshakova dashatyalam gayatah vishnu gatha. No, he is not blaming or he is not questioning Krishna, but at the same time he is telling, let me die without any regret. Let me die chanting and glorifying Lord Vishnu and singing his pastimes. One of these personalities, whose name is Brony Ware, she's an Australian nurse, and she worked in a palliative care unit where she had to see those people who died because of terminal illness at a very early age. And when she was serving these terminally ill patients who are about to leave in next 12 weeks, she observed some common phenomena. She observed 5 different types of commonly regretted items. So she observed this top 5 regrets of the dying people. And these were these 5 regrets that she noticed. The first regret is people wished if they had the courage to live a true life to oneself and not the life that other expected from them. So many a times we live such a artificial and a superficial life just so that the others will be happy. We fail to live the life, or we fail to be what we are. The second regret is, I wish I could give more time to my family members, to my children. I could spend some more time with my relatives, and I wish I worked less hard. The third regret is, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. The fourth regret is, I wish I could stay in touch with my friends with whom I broke so many relations. Many a times we end up breaking relations and later on we regret. So this is one of the regrets just before the person is about to die. And the fourth and the fifth regret is, I wish I had led a happier life. Mind, when we are living right now, mind is lost. Basically, we have lost the habit of being in the present. As a result, we cannot be happy. Because more we are in the past and in the future, we are either cribbing, criticizing, complaining, or crying, which is the eternal function of the conditioned mind. So, these are the common regrets that we see in compare or in contrast to Parikshit Maharaj's life, where he carried no regret, but he is accepting everything gracefully and gratefully that's coming in his life. And interestingly, the verses that we are discussing are the prophetic verses. That means predictions are being made. So even before the Parikshit Maharaj was born, predictions are made what will happen to Parikshit Maharaj in future. Now, if we compare the life of Parikshit Maharaj and the life of Kamsa, in the life of Kamsa, there was a prediction that was made. There was a prophecy that was made, that the 8th child of Devaki and Vasudev will be the cause of his death. Here also the prediction is made, the Takshaka on the 7th day will bite, and that will be the cause of Parikshit's death. So if we compare Parikshit and Kamsa, Kamsa, he really wanted to hold on. And Kamsa, he actually personified cruelty because that cruelty had its roots in the fear of becoming irrelevant. Kamsa had that fear that he is the king, but very soon he will become irrelevant because of the death. So he wanted to stop that cycle. So Kamsa actually personifies cruelty. And in order to somehow save his position, he ended up becoming so cruel that he killed so many innocent babies. Just because he was consumed by this fear that he would be rendered irrelevant by death. And this type of fear is found in most of the autocratic leaders. And because of their short vision, because of the short vision of such leaders, they actually choose to ignore the legacy of change. They don't want to accept the legacy of change, but instead they choose to be permanent legacy themselves. So in order to save themselves somehow and be secured and hooked on to, hold on to, cling on to the position that they are in, they are willing to go to any extent to probably kill, shoot, or harm someone else, because they believe in this. They believe that they can break this cycle of past, present, and future, and they only want to create a present for them. But unfortunately, the material nature doesn't allow. It doesn't work like that, because it's a very synthetic and artificial way of living, because ultimately the wheel of life continues on from the birth to growth to finally old age and death. So it is said that if we do not move ahead, with grace, material nature will disgrace us. And Kamsa, he tried to stop forcefully. Actually, Kamsa means bracket. Bracket is not a complete circle. Bracket means half. So, Kamsa's life is actually not fully integrated in compared to Krishna's life, where Krishna is teaching us the art of assimilating everything. Krishna is Purna, complete whole, complete circle. Kamsa is bracket where he is half. But Lord Krishna, he is teaching us the art of assimilating everything, where Lord Krishna is telling us through Bhagavad Gita and through his devotees that death is equally a part of creation. And it is as equally important as life. It is not that only life is important, but death is equally important. And death is another facet of life. So when we have this clear understanding, then that helps us to move on and give others the chance to take the place. Give others the chance to replace. I remember, I would not mind taking name. Our Dawoji Prabhu, who is the head of the department of the DT room. He for so many years he was serving, dressing Radha Gopinath in the night, and practically, and he's one of the best dressers in our temple. But he voluntarily chose to move out. Why? because he said, let others also get the chance. No, I can continue dressing. No, I love to dress, but no, I want to voluntarily move out so that I can give others the chance to come and worship Radha Gopinath. So this is very organic, this is very natural, and actually Lord is very pleased with that. Rather than probably we holding on to something just because I think I am the only one who deserves it. And that's basically the Kamsa mentality. So we have to understand that we also have to move on in life and we have to play a role somewhere else. Just like a student in a classroom has a role when the student is in the school, but when that same student grows, that student's role in the school becomes irrelevant. A student has to move on. Student has to go to graduate oneself to a higher university, and that same student after some time, after graduating, has to move on to look for a job. And that same movement continues. So yes, there is a fear of becoming irrelevant. Kamsa had carried that fear of becoming irrelevant. But whoever we may be, today or tomorrow, we all will become redundant or irrelevant. So moving is inevitable and permanent, but trying to hold on and stay on to one place is actually Kamsa mentality. And that's what Lord Krishna did not allow. He did not allow this mentality to grow because the wheel of life is in constant motion. So naturally, we should understand that leadership is permanent, but the leaders are not permanent. Leader has to change with the change of time. And being a part of being a good leader is having this understanding that yes, I have to abdicate and I also have to relinquish from the leadership position at the right time when the time comes, and allow others the chance, give others the chance to come forward. Unfortunately, yes, no, this wisdom is lacking even in best leaders, no, who try to cling on and hold on. But we see in the life of Krishna and even in the life of Lord Ram, yes, they did their part and they moved on. And Pandavas, they took inspiration from Lord Krishna. And when Lord Krishna departed, they also taught us the art of moving ahead in or moving on in life. We have so many examples of personalities who actually wanted to hold on. Mantra is one such example. She was quite fearful that probably she may lose the position of being the best maid of the king's best favorite queen. And as a result, what she did, no, she was responsible for launching this mission of manipulation, where she manipulated and she did not allow Lord Ram to come in power. So that was her fear, the fear of becoming insignificant and fear of becoming irrelevant. And that's why she used her tricks to stop by all means. But the fact of life is, even the most updated and the most upgraded will become outdated in due course of time. Now, these are the 5 biggest fears of men that are registered. What are the 5 biggest fears of men today? First is failure. That's the fear. Second, they have the fear of being incompetent, where they fail to become competent in their field of work. The third fear is the fear of being judged by people around. The fourth fear is the fear of being or becoming irrelevant. And the fifth fear is the fear of death. So this fear, the fear of being irrelevant, is something which haunts many people. What if I lose my stability and my standing? One of very senior brahmacharis in our ashram was very informally sharing one time a very profound piece of information. He was telling that we all have to be prepared for the worst that is going to hit our life very soon. He was telling that Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, for someone who has received honor, dishonor is worse than death. For someone who has received respect, name, fame, honor, naturally, when we will not get, in due course of time, when we become irrelevant, it is going to be far more painful. So yes, people will not completely dishonor us, but definitely they will not respect us as they used to respect us before. But we have to be ready to accept what comes our way. And he was giving this example that today no one remembers Devanand, no one remembers Rishi Kapoor, Rajesh Khanna. Oh yeah, probably even if they remember once in a year or maybe for a few moments. But they are not right now in the minds and the hearts of people. So if you ask people, today people will remember the current celebrities. People will remember, say, Ayushmann Khurrana, or people will remember, say, Ranveer Kapoor. People may not even remember or respect, say, Sachin Tendulkar or Amitabh Bachchan. Oh yeah, people may respect them, but what if the current high-profile celebrities, they come next to them? Whom will people run to? People will respect, no doubt, Tendulkar and many such great celebrities, but people will run to someone else who are the current celebrities. And that's how the life actually move on. They want to hear from the new ones. They don't want to hear from the oldies. And if there is Virat Kohli and probably Rohit Sharma, whom would people want to run to? People would want to run to Rohit Sharma and hear from him, take autograph from him. So yes, whoever they may be, even the best of the celebrities will be replaced tomorrow. So he was telling this very important point that if we get carried away by this profit, fame, glory, recognition, which is so temporary, we will get severely hurt and pained when we won't get it. So he was telling us that don't think that this will not happen to you, me, we all. It's going to happen to everyone in due course of time, today or tomorrow. Sukhe dukhe same kritva labha labho jaya jayo. This is what we have to imbibe, the teachings of Bhagavad Gita in our life. And he shared this beautiful song, Main pal do pal ka shayar hoon, pal do pal meri kahani hai, pal do pal meri hasti hai aur pal do pal meri jawani hai. मुझसे पहले कितने शायर आए और आकर चले गए, कुछ आहे भर के लौट गए, कुछ नगमे गाकर चले गए. वो भी एक पल का हिस्सा था, मैं भी एक पल का हिस्सा हूँ. कल तुमसे जुदा हो जाऊंगा, वो आज तुम्हारा हिस्सा हूँ. मैं पल दो पल का शायर हूँ, पल दो पल मेरी कहानी है. It's a beautiful connect. So yes, whoever we may be, we may ultimately become irrelevant. Yes, we may become irrelevant in the eyes of the world, but in the eyes of Krishna, we will never become irrelevant. This is what we have to understand. Parikshit Maharaj, yes, in the eyes of the world, he became irrelevant. But in the eyes of Krishna, what he did, he swiftly and smoothly moved on, switched on from material to spiritual shelter. So if we can learn to take shelter of Krishna's holy name when today or tomorrow, when we will become irrelevant, that's our true success, because we will not become irrelevant in the eyes of Krishna. Sudama was irrelevant in the eyes of the world. No one knew who Sudama is. But Sudama actually did not lose his relevance in the eyes of Krishna. Krishna never made him feel that you are nothing. The world may make us think that you are nothing today. But Krishna never made him feel. Whether it was Dukhi in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya never made Dukhi feel that she is non-existent, she is redundant. Or we take the life of Shabri, Lord Ram equally reciprocated with Shabri. And not only that, when the Gop Kumar enters, we hear in Brihad Bhagavatam, when Gop Kumar enters the spiritual world, Lord Krishna runs to embraces him. And Gop Kumar feels that it's just a short time that we were separated. And Lord Krishna just makes him feel so much a part of a family. And that's the mood of this temple. That's the mood of the leaders here. That even those who are old, they should be given equal respect and position, where they also feel inspired till the last moment of their life, while they are in the moment of Srila Prabhupada. So yes, life may part. That's true with everyone. Life may part, but let's do our part and impart and apply the knowledge as much as we can before we depart from this world. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. I'm sorry to go overboard and sorry to speak so much. That's beyond my realization. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Samaveda Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.